G'day, hi and welcome. So I'm in Chinook territory today. Everything's melting. Look at that beautiful sun. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's only like 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30 in the afternoon. Feels like so late, but getting my vitamin D is good. There's my big ass boat. I got to get working on that too. The problem is this is the time of year where I have the time to work on stuff, but this is the time of year where you usually can't work on anything. So what I got here is my truck buck. This was my uncle's, like I said. He had it sitting for at least 1.5 years there, and of course, because he took sick, he passed away and everything like that. So for those that are new to this series, this is why I have the truck. It's going to be basically a tribute truck, so to speak. But the first thing is that it doesn't run properly. It does start. It was a bitch. It took me a week to get it started because the gas in there was pretty much liquid, turned to water. For sitting probably for 1.5 years. So there's probably going to be a lot of parts getting swapped out on this over time, just whatever. That tire needs to be blown up again. This tire definitely has to get replaced, but it's too bad because these are really cool tires. But I got the other one. As long as the bead doesn't let go, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because I'm going to pull that one off and put the other one. But whoever had this truck before my uncle took fairly good care of it, and I don't think it was that much winter driven. There is rust underneath, but the body work is actually not too darn bad on this. Am I going to stay? You're kidding me. Sometimes that's what I hate about gas shocks. The same with the Brutus over there. Sometimes they work. Sometimes, you got to have a stick. You know what I mean? So the 5.4 liter Triton engine. What is the main problem? Well, the problem with that engine is the same engine. And just for comparison, this is the 5.4 liter Triton. Let's go over to Freddie there. And we'll have a look at the hey, check out the body. Not bad, eh? Even look at the tailgate. I mean, this is a 1998 truck. I mean, my other uncle, who's still alive, he took pretty good care of this truck too, and you can see how rusted that is. So this one was driven in the winter, I know for sure. That one's 4x4. This is 2-wheel drive. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get under here. But, oh, no. Sorry. I left it up a bit so I could easily open it, but I guess there was enough snow on it the other day. Well, closed the darn hood. There's the cap for it. I'm going to sell that. I don't know how much money I'm going to end up putting into this truck over time, but oh good, the swimming pool's emptying. This truck had a big swimming pool in it because of the way it was sitting. It does have a muffler. It's right there, see? Yeah, so this truck sounds pretty glorious when it does run, when you get it running. But anyway, okay, the common things is these are modular engines from Ford, and they're in just about every vehicle you can buy. The Crown Vic, the what's their SUV there, the big they're in some of the Lincoln Town cars. They're in the Explorer, that's their big SUV. Obviously, a ton of F-150s have these modular engines. And they basically ran them from 1990, don't quote me on the year, we'll say 96, 97 to 2010 or 2011. And it came in basically two kind of configurations, 2-valve and 3-valve. Everybody curses the 3-valve. This is the older 2-valve. This is the first gen of this engine. And the engine came in three sizes, I think. 4 liter, 4.6, and of course the big mighty 5.4 liter here. Now, Ford really knocked it out of the park with the concept, I think. But where the engine has a shortcoming, and there's a couple, the first shortcoming is that the cam chain sliders, followers, whatever you want to call them, have like a plastic on them, and they get brittle over time, and chunks of it end up in your oil pan, which clogs your sump, and then of course starves your engine of oil. So that's problem number one. But the second problem, and this is the more major problem, is with these engines you have to change the oil quite frequently, like every 3,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers kind of stuff, because they don't have adequate oiling for their size. So, which means you get a lot of sludge build up in the heads and stuff like that. That's one of the big complaints about this. That said, this engine, even though it's running really rough, it still runs, and it's a 1998 with 225,000 kilometers on it. You know what I mean? So how bad is it, right? The other big one is the spark plugs are not properly designed on these, and what they used was a two-piece spark plug, and what would happen is you would get is it anodization, is that the word I'm looking for? When two metals kind of fuse together, they get a reaction, and they fuse together. Basically, they seize together. Steel and aluminum, stuff like that. And anyway, what happens is the spark plug threads corrode, and there's not quite enough threads in the head, and some of the spark plugs will sometimes blow out. But sometimes what happens is they corrode. This is the more severe of the problem, is when you go to take out the spark plug, because it's a two-piece, the threaded part stays seized to the head and the rest of the plug comes out. Then you have to either take off the head to get that out of there, or if you strip the threadings in the head in the process, then you have to get it helicoiled, which is a whole bunch of money if you have to start doing that. Now, if you're doing the work yourself, it doesn't matter. It's a pain in the ass. But however, yeah, the spark plug issue is well known about these. I don't think it's as bad as people say if you can do it, but it's a pain in the ass if you have to take that big ass head off. Now, one really cool thing about the design is the heads are interchangeable from the left to the right on the modular engines, and I believe you can take the 4.6 liter heads and put them on the 5.5 liter, whatever. I think they're ported the exact same way. Other common problems, which I don't know if this one has it, but hey, this thing has been probably upgraded. Usually the manifolds on these are plastic. That looks like aluminum to me. I hope so. That'd be really cool if the guy upgraded. Again, whoever had this truck before my uncle, definitely could tell he loved the truck. So there's probably been stuff done to it. I talked to a mechanic that did work on this truck, and he said, "Oh, Reg," he goes, "here's some of the things your uncle was working on with it." My uncle obviously loved this truck because he didn't get rid of it, and my aunt, the reason why she got rid of it, like, she obviously can't fix it or whatever, and it was taking up the yard, and for the snow plowing and stuff like that, and it wasn't running. So this truck was going to go for scrap, and it runs, and I know that I'm probably going to solve the problem of why it's running rough. Probably not as bad of a deal. Like, it doesn't seem to be a mechanical issue in the sense of, like, okay, there's a blown piston or something like that. But again, until I do a compression check, which I'm going to have to get a compression gauge, I won't know. Other things that kind of go wrong with these, sometimes I think the bearing in the water pump is a bit of an issue sometimes. But other than that, these engines, they do, if you stay on top of the maintenance of them, apparently they do run quite well for a long period of time. Hence 89 here. You know what I mean? Like 1998 here, vehicle. So you get the idea. Like they will run if you maintain them. And the other complaint is, like all trucks, now mind you, that truck is horrible on fuel. Like 300 from empty to full. Now mind you, that truck's not running fully optimal either. But that truck, I know the Dodges were hard on gas. Like that thing, I was getting probably 14, 16 miles per gallon on the highway. Not bad for the 4.6. That's about 1.1 liters more. And I'm getting like, I don't even think I'm getting 10 miles to the gallon on that thing, guys. It is nasty. Like it's just like, it's like you feel violated when you fill up the tank on that. And apparently these things aren't much better. But I didn't buy this truck to work it. I bought this truck to, a summer drive. Keep it clean. It's not going to haul metal or anything like that. It's going to be a tribute truck, but it's also going to be a fun truck. So, you could see a supercharger on there someday. But yeah, so that's just kind of like some of the common things that you're going to find out about these. And the other big complaint is, even though the modular engine is a clever design, one of the big problems is, it's so, the way they've set everything up, you can't just reach the plugs, you can't just reach the coils, you can't just reach the fuel rail, you can't reach anything. You got to strip it down every time you want to work on it, which, neither here nor there. But if you're paying the maintenance bill, that's that becomes an issue. So I'll figure out what the issue is probably by spring, but what I'd like to do is just get it running well enough so that I can, obviously I got to replace the exhaust on this thing, and brakes. And then after that, it's, you know, like as long as I get the engine, you know, figure out why it's running rough. Maybe it'll be as simple as just replacing the coils. Could be a dead plug. It could be all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to replace the coils and plugs anyway because I have them. Whether the coils need changing or not, why not? People have different opinions on and results with different coils. Some people say just go for the best ones, get the expensive ones, don't get the cheap ones. I got the cheap ones. I'll try them and we'll go from there. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this thing run. And there's gonna be a lot of videos on this truck, guys. It's gonna be a long journey. Close it. Yeah, right about there. Yeah. Because I like to be able to just come in rather than have to jump in there all the time. Yeah, there's a crack on that windshield anyway. But anyway, I thought I'd show you that. So I'm gonna clean this thing up. And one nice thing about the winter is you can use the snow to wash it. So there we go. All right, there we go.